G'day guys, how we doing? Not a video I was gonna do, but honestly, from the sheer amount of just comments, questions, people on social media, people actually IRL asking about this game, I thought, hey, why don't I do a bit of a review, or more so, a comparison between Richard Burns Rally and Assetto Corsa Rally. So, let's just get into the meat potatoes of what's going on, man. So for the time I've actually played Assetto Corsa Rally and Richard Burns Rally, I'm in a bit of a unique perspective where I actually have about the same amount of playtime in both, as I've only just recently converted to PC from a console. So I have a bit of a unique perspective, as I wouldn't be biased because I've played them for the both pretty much exactly the same time, give or take an hour or two. So for both of these times I've been using the same gear, which is all my Thrustmaster T598, all my Thrustmaster gear, a full rally setup basically. So yeah, and to note as well, in Richard Burns Rally I'm using the newest modded version, which is through Rally Sim Fans. So just give you a bit of the background story there. And also I've played them both in VR. Now I will note that in Assetto Corsa Rally the VR isn't really there yet. It's very bare bones, and to even play it you got to use a third-party app to even make it launch in VR. So I'm not going to use VR as a comparison. This is going to be playing on a flat screen as your first or impressions going forward after, you know, however many hours I put into the game now. So honestly, first of all, to think that it's taken 21 years for a game to even rival RBR, that's pretty amazing when you say. Like, RBR has really stood the test of time, and it just really shows the detail in the actual game itself, but it isn't without its flaws. So let's jump into the physics side of things. Richard Burns Rally, well, the bumps, jumps, how the car settles after all these, and how it floats over like uneven surfaces is a little bit less than ideal, I'll be honest with you. This is something that Assetto Corsa Rally actually does very nicely. The car, as it goes over a bump or a jump, it actually resettles itself very nicely. Whereas in Richard Burns Rally, even with all the mods and stuff that I've sort of come across so far, unless there's more I haven't found, it still feels a bit clunky how it lands, and a lot of the times you don't even know if you're going to survive it when you do land a jump or a bump, because it just, yeah, it's a very floaty type of feel. Feel like as if, think about if you just put a big marshmallow on the ground and you jumped onto the marshmallow and it was a bit that squirmy sort of feeling. Though it would be sort of realistic, it just doesn't translate that way for a wheel. So there's that. Assetto Corsa Rally, well, let's just say it's very easy to lose the flow on a stage, where I found in Richard Burns Rally you can just really get a nice, you know, a nice cruisy sort of pace going, and the game just flows very nicely through this pace, through each corner, and you just get yourself into a settled type of rhythm, if that makes sense to you guys who play rally games. You can just listen to the call that's coming up and you're just in this zone. Whereas in Assetto Corsa Rally, you very easily lose the flow. It's just, I don't know, I just feel like there's something in the physics there that just some random stuff can sort of happen. I'd probably argue because Richard Burns Rally is a bit more bare bones in the level design, and then in Assetto Corsa Rally it's obviously a laser scanned track, but compiled with this sort of feeling and into the force feedback, which is something I'll get into soon, it really seems to just, I don't know, rear its head a lot more than you would sort of think. It's a bit of a weird one on that. Another thing on Assetto Corsa Rally, I found the weight to put it on the front wheels is quite interesting, I would say. Most rally games you can use a few techniques. You can sort of pump the brake a little bit here and there, or even pump the throttle, and sometimes it will dive in, and you know, if you pump the throttle and touch the brake as well at the same time, you can sort of dive it in and make it really put some weight in. Assetto Corsa Rally doesn't really give you that sort of feeling. It's like once it starts pushing, that's sort of it, and the force feedback, how it's detailed, just does not help. It just doesn't help. So yeah, weighting the front wheels with just driving force, I don't know, very hit and miss in my opinion. Another reason for Assetto Corsa Rally, with the physics side of things, the rear end in Assetto Corsa Rally can sometimes just do some really random freaking stuff where you might just lose it out of nowhere. So the easiest way to describe all this sort of stuff is like the bare bones as it is right now. The force feedback of this game isn't there. It's very bare bones. It's there. You have like a constant center force type of force, but in terms of detailed force feedback, there's a lot of stuff missing. So I'm gonna say braking. The braking in Assetto Corsa is what's the best way to say this? I'm just going to say interesting, okay? It's not great at all or by any means, and I actually found it very inconsistent. But when you lock up a wheel or something like that as well, you don't get any of that shudder or that feel through the wheel. It's just that constant center force like I was talking about before. It's yeah, a little bit weird. So Richard Burns Rally, I find you can actually get a really good feel of how much grip you do have when the tire's loaded up and the car is gonna like buck or chuck it out, whereas ACR it just goes frickin' bang and you're like okay, I guess that's what we're doing now. So yeah, there's that. The ACR crash physics are amazing. Gotta give it props to that. The actual damage detail through the actual environment itself is leaps and bounds above RBR, but let's be honest, after 21 years, you would bloody well hope so, hey, with all the new game engines and physics engines. Yeah, anyway, if that didn't come across be better, yeah, that's not good at all. Another thing with Assetto Corsa Rally is the wet and dry surfaces. Not a massive difference, or maybe I'd like to see more. Even with the most wettest settings in ACR, the car's still not that hard to sort of like, unless you've played it, it's hard to understand. But yeah, I'd like a lot more difference between wet and dry stuff. So yeah, graphics, well, honestly, ACR is absolutely freaking gorgeous. Let's be honest with that. But there is some issues with this itself. I don't know if you guys experience it, but I'm experiencing micro stutters and screen tears in the game. Though when I do record this, for some reason it doesn't come up in the recording, so I don't know what the go is with there. My PC isn't even near maxed out. I've got a fair bit of headroom there, and I'm running it at medium settings just to get a feel for it actually. But yeah, it's very, very weird. Whereas on the other hand, RBR is so freaking smooth. It's just like, just butter, man. Just butter. It's such a well detailed game, but after 21 years of mods, yeah, you'd want that to be, wouldn't it? For setup, well, RBR is obviously the hardest choice here, though it's free with all the mods and the actual installer and going through a torrent file system. It is very, very daunting, but I'd argue once you get a bit of a handle on it and you do it for the first time, it's not that bad at all. But the initial setup, when you go into looking at all the stuff to do and the process and the steps, it's yeah, you're like, holy shit. Well, I was anyway. And once it's all done and you get the bit of the feel for how to load stuff in and how it goes, pretty bloody good. RBR obviously has, you know, because it's a free game and mod and stuff like that, that's what the bare bones of that is. Whereas Assetto Corsa Rally, you just buy the game, load it up, adjust it for the first sort of time, and everything stays. Whereas in RBR, a lot of my settings, each time I load up the game, they get lost, so I have to keep redoing my inputs, steering inputs, brake inputs, just all my inputs for the game. It's very, very weird. Not sure if everyone experiencing this, but for me, it's pretty much every time. It's pretty bloody weird. Now for sounds, Richard Burns Rally is absolutely stellar. I've actually released a video at the same time as this, which is of this footage you're seeing right now. But yeah, the exhaust notes and just the overall sense of just speed when you're going through the track and how it's all layered through the audio files, amazing. Assetto Corsa Rally is very, very good. I will give it that, absolutely. But I feel like the snaps, crackles, and pops, like a bit of an ad for a cereal company there, but they could be really amplified a lot, as well as the maybe a bit more depth and yeah, a bit more bass type of feel to the actual sound of the cars. Though what's happening these days in rally games is what you don't really get told by developers or anything like that, is they try to mimic what you sort of hear in a rally helmet And because those helmets are very, very muffled and packed with insulation, gets sort of a tinny sort of noise, which is what they really try to mimic, but it's not something you actually really come across. So yeah, pretty interesting there. I don't really know how would I wrap this up. How would I wrap this up? Because I don't want it to amp on for 20 million years. I'd say that Richard Burns Rally is better now as it stands, and Assetto Corsa Rally is very, very good, but let's just really hammer home the fact that this is only just the initial release. This is a pre-release, so this is actually even before a beta version, which is to make it look as good as it is and just the little stuff it has. I'd say RBI is king, but after the full release, which is apparently scheduled for about 12 months from now, give or take, and depending what happens from there, RBI has a very interesting contender. But and also the fact that Assetto Corsa Rally is confirmed for console release, so that's very interesting as well. You know, a lot more people into the game is also going to be better for the player base, whereas Richard Burns Rally is just there for the select few who do have a PC. And for myself, I come across as someone who was like that, and I knew what it was like to I just say left out. It's a bit annoying when you can't really access, especially if you're into rally games and you hear all this, everyone comment about Richard Burns Rally and blah 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 blah. You can't even get to it, so it's like, what the hell, man? That's a bit of a pain in the ass. So yeah, RBR in ACR's current state is absolutely by far the clear winner here, but the catch-up game is strong, and we need to keep hammering home this to the devs for Assetto Corsa Rally, because from what I'm seeing, from what I'm reading, what I'm hearing, these guys are actually really taking the feedback and criticism well, whereas we want this to be a place of constructive criticism. We don't want to just rag on a game for its faults. You know, that's not how stuff gets solved. You want to really just hammer home and be honest up front, but also fair when taking everything into consideration. So yeah, the biggest thing that I fear for Assetto Corsa Rally, if I'm completely honest with you guys, is the content rollout. I touched this on my initial review of the game, but you know, bear in mind this game, they actually have to walk the stage with like a backpack with a laser scanner in it, or at the very least with a car with some type of laser scanner in it, because these are laser scanned tracks. And for a laser scan track to be done, polished, finished, and like, look how fantastic this game actually looks. It's a lot of work, so the content rollout could be very, very slow for stages. And it's the same for cars actually. They literally want the car in-house to go over it, 3D scan every single part of it, to have a one-to-one, pretty much like a one-to-one scale of the car, to give it the most realistic type of look and feel. You know, especially when you're looking into VR and stuff, the in-cab stuff is already very, very, very freaking good. So, you know, it's yeah, I don't know, like, I'm prepared to wait for this because I have a whole bunch of rally games on the go. Being on PC now, I've access to everything. But as a console game player, you'd be worried for the content rollout. So yeah, as it sits now, obviously I'm going to hammer it home again, but RBR is still the king after 20 odd years. ACR's there, but ACR's going to make ground very, very fast. So let's revisit this on the full release of Assetto Corsa Rally, and yeah, let's see if the tables can turn for the king. Hope you guys have a good day, a good night, or a good afternoon. If you love rally content, subscribe for more, as it's what I love to do. It's my favorite thing, and it's even more than a hobby. It's a bit of a passion of mine, so consider that if you like this sort of stuff. And yeah, as always, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers, boys.